Hi guys, this is Lashette from Scarlet Moon Creations, and I am back. This is hopefully my mid-July reading wrap-up where I talk about the first half of the books I read in the month of July. There should be an outfit change. There will be an outfit change because I'm only here in this outfit. I've only read 3 books so far. It's summertime. Let's get those disclaimers going. I do have the window open and I live on a busy street in New York City. I think there's some kids playing outside in the fire hydrant, which is open and right in front of my building. Not right in front of my window, but not very far from it. And I have my fan on. So you might hear some ambient noises. I'll edit out what I can, but you just have to deal with the rest. Now, let's talk about these books. The first book that I finished in the month of July was a manga. I put this on hold for reasons I don't remember. You know what? No, I blame Ashley. This is Ashley's fault. Ashley from Bookish Realm and Realm of Comics. Links to her channels down below. Because, yeah, this sounded intriguing. I don't remember exactly what she said about it. Like, she said she liked it. I don't remember, like, any anecdotes or adjectives that she might have used to describe it. I went to my Libby and I put it on hold. The library didn't currently have it, and it was one of those things like, we'll let you know when a copy is available. Like when we actually purchased a digital copy. So it came in like the last couple of days of June, and I've been struggling with reading books. So when it came in, I was like, alright, this looks cute. Yogi the Bookshop Goat by Fumi Furukawa. This is adult. First of all, I wasn't expecting this sexual content. And it's on the page. It is, what is it, censored. So it's not full frontal nudity, but this is also technically male. So what is very interesting about manga censorship is they put like these little bursts of light in strategic places to cover things. So at first I thought it wasn't censored because in the first scene we get a close-up of a assisted masturbation scene, right? We see everything except the tip, and I thought it was just, the angle of the art or whatever, the perspective the art was drawn in, but I was wrong from future scenes. So, like, that's just to give you, yeah, I was surprised. And I don't have a problem with porn or erotica or not safe for work manga, which would be this, but I wasn't expecting it. So I'm just putting that out there so you know, because otherwise this is a very cute, sweet story. They're in this world, I guess, where there's this anthropomorphized animals. Like, they have like mostly human bodies, they're bipedal and all of that stuff, but they have like ears and tails and a couple of other small animal features, and the herbivores live on one side of the country and the carnivores live on another side of the country. But we're following Yogi, who is a goat, but because of some childhood influences and therefore a childhood dream, he wants to work in a bookshop, but goats eat paper and paper products, so no bookshop owner wants to hire him. So he ventures to the carnivore side of the country to become a bookstore clerk, and because he's a goat and that's unique on the carnivore side, he gets hired, and there's a little will they won't they happening with him and the owner of the shop, who is a little older than him. So yeah, that's the story. Kind of like their relationship with each other and with the bookshop and books in general. It was, like I said, very cute and very sweet, and then bam, a sex scene out of nowhere. It was very contrived, I'm not even gonna lie. I think that was it for the story. I kind of wish this was longer, that we got into more detail about certain things, but otherwise it was fine. I gave it 3 stars. The next book I finished, finally, was Rosemary and Rue. This is by Shannon McGuire, the one who does the, what is it, Every Heart a Doorway, and that whole series, which I have, but I haven't read yet. But this particular book is book 1 in the October Day series, and it's an urban fantasy. This was recommended by someone from a Facebook group I'm in last year. I was doing that 12 challenge, read 12 books recommended by 12 friends in 12 months. 12 months has been passed. And I did read a lot of those, but I just never got to this. This came to me, and I've had it for several months, but I forgot I had it. And I was reminded when the library was like, okay, since you haven't returned it, you have to pay us. And I was like, wait, I have that? And I went looking for it, and then I was like, well, since I still have it, let me read it, because somebody else wants it. It was interesting. It pulled me in. If you're new here, urban fantasy and paranormal romance are my favorite subgenres. They're usually hand in hand with each other. This is definitely urban fantasy. There's a little bit of romance in here, but not really, and it's not a main plot line with the story or anything like that. So there's that. That's more of the difference between the two. In this, we're in this world where the Fae exist, but human beings are not aware of them. And those who go out in the human world outside of the Summerlands or the fairy mounds, they put glamours on themselves so that humans are unaware. October Day, or Toby, is a changeling, so she's like half fae, half human. She's also a detective, which somehow seems to be also a big thing in urban fantasy series. But I'm not mad at it because I like the mystery, whodunit / somewhat police procedural aspects without it being fully just that. So yeah, we start off the book in the past. I mean, this is an older series, so take that idea. Early 2000s. She's on a case. It's to do with one of the fairy courts. One of the duchess of one of the courts, and her daughter goes missing. So the Duke has Toby go look for them, and she's on the case. She's following the culprits, but she doesn't know that they know she's following them, and they put her under a curse basically for 14 years. And so she kind of loses 14 years of her life. I'm not going to get into how. And then through various circumstances, she gets freed 14 years later after people, have obviously moved on with their lives. Being a changeling, she lives longer than most human beings do, so this is not the end of the world, but still, it makes a big difference. Now that she's back, she's just trying to keep under the radar. She had a family, but they were human, and so, her just disappearing for 14 years, after basically lying to them because they're human about what she does for work, they kind of were upset and wrote her off. And she's feeling a certain type of way about life in general, given the given, and trying to stay away from everyone that she once knew. However, somebody who helped her out when she came back after 14 years basically puts a spell on her. They die and they put a spell on her, like, you have to help find my killer. You have to find my killer. She's basically back in the business, and because of this, back in interacting with Faye and all of that stuff when she was trying to avoid it all. It was interesting. It didn't keep me interested the entire time. There were certain relationships that I found uninteresting, like her and certain people. I was just like, I don't care. The main one wound up being very important. The main one that I found uninteresting wound up being important, understandably, but I feel like it was predictable to an extent. Maybe I read too much urban fantasy, but you knew somebody was gonna betray her, one of these guys, and lo and behold. I don't know where this is going. I don't know if I want to continue this series because it was okay. I enjoy it. It has all of the elements that I like that suck me in for urban fantasies. Particularly when we're talking about the Fae, I like my Fae to be realistic and twisted and not human and dark. They were. It could have been darker, but it was enough in some sense. Others, I'm just like, Toby was not that interesting. I think that's maybe it's her, the main character, or maybe I've outgrown this type of main character that I used to love. I don't know. But like I said, I would be interested in reading more from this series, but I'm not going to go out of my way to try to do so. But I do appreciate the person who recommended this book to me. I'm still trying to figure out why it's called Rosemary and Rue. If you've read this and you know why, please let me know in the comments. Because this is something, it's not important, but the question occurred to me several times while reading the book. Not a lot, but less than a handful of times. And I was just like, where's the Rosemary and Rue coming in? The next book I finished, another manga, Insomniacs After School, Volume 1. This is by Makoto Ojiro. This is, I guess, contemporary manga. The translation is through Viz Media, so it says YA teen rated. This one though, again, I blame Ashley because I thought it was a BTS book club pick, but it was not. So this came out in 2019, but I think my library is just getting them. This is what it says on the tin. We have two teenagers who are insomniacs. They don't know it. They're not friends until one day they bump into each other in the school's closed observatory. First of all, what high school has an observatory, closed or otherwise? There's a expensive high-powered telescope in this observatory. Alright. So the observatory has been closed for many years because rumor has it that there was astrology club or astronomy club, and it was like 3 guys and 2 girls, and one of the girls either jumped or fell off the observatory tower, so content warnings for that. They kind of like zip past it because it is a rumor. And it turns out one of the guys in the club was in love with her, and he wound up doing something unfortunate, and the other 2 guys would go to the tower and see the girl's ghost and then do something unfortunate. So there was 1 girl left in the club, and so they just closed it down. And so yeah, this rumor has been going around. And so the teachers just used the observatory tower as storage. One day, this young man who was kind of like unpopular because apparently he's rude. easily set off. So one day he goes up to get some boxes and he's like, huh. And we find out he's an insomniac, so he gets cranky and irritated because he's not getting any sleep. And he hasn't for a while, and he thinks, oh, this is a good place to sleep. Lo and behold, someone else has already chosen that place to sleep. And so that's the story continues from there. This is only volume 1. There's no like romance or anything so far. But yeah, the teachers are like, you guys can't just be up here sleeping. If you want to be up here, we gotta restart the astronomy club. Yeah, it's a cute story. It's unfortunately very believable. As far as the rumor, you'll have to read to find out. But yeah, we kind of gloss over that content warning. I give this 4 stars. I enjoyed every aspect of it. Like, the art style is pretty good. I think both of the characters are very cute teens, to be perfectly honest. It's like, oh, you guys are adorable. Oh, you're adorable. Oh, he's adorable. That kind of thing. Like, not together necessarily, but just as people, they're cute. FYI, there are 3 members of the astronomy club, which was funny. Alright, hey, I'm going to talk about one more book in this new outfit for this video. The 4th book I finished in the month of July was Sinner, book 2 in the pre-series by Sierra Simone. So, the thing is, probably like, Lashette, what the hell? I've heard about the pre-series, and I was definitely intrigued early on because the idea, and I haven't read Priest, so give me some grace, is that it's romance dealing into erotica, but also we're dealing with the idea of faith and spirituality, religion, church, in particular the Catholic and or Christian church. So we have these brothers who grew up in a Christian church. I think it's Catholic, but I did read Sinner, so tell me if I remember if it's Catholic church. It probably is though. Anyway, so we have these brothers. They grew up in this, and something happened in their family which has I guess questioning their faith. The brother from Priest does show up a couple of times, mostly in phone calls, and once physically being there towards the end in Sinner. So anyway, Sinner is about the eldest brother who is, I guess he sees himself as a sinner mostly. He's kind of a playboy. He's all about, you know, money and the way things look and having the best in life. He goes to a party, and when I say party, like, this is a grown man. I'm 38. I think he was like a year or 2 younger than me. I just remember thinking, oh, it's a grown-ass man. So when I say party, it's not like he's clubbing and whatnot. He's going to these very elegant affairs. He's a well-established lawyer for a very big firm, and he's kind of set to take over, maybe. But that's how high up he is. And he's doing well, and this party is kind of one of those gala things. So I should probably have said gala instead of party. But anyway, he goes to this party looking for a hookup because he hasn't had one in a while. He comes across this girl, this woman. She's 21 or 22, I forget. And They almost hook up, and then come to find out it's his best friend's younger sister. And she is about a month away from becoming a nun. Yeah. So she asked him to kind of help her experience sex and the pleasures of life before she becomes a nun and has to take her vows of celibacy and whatnot. And he sort of reluctantly agrees. Story goes from there. You may be asking yourself, if this is his best friend's younger sister, how did he not know? Because he hasn't seen her in years. Best friend? Yes. Again, this has to do with their family thing that happened, and it affected the friendship between the two families, though not between the two men. So it is what it is. Really interesting. I kind of lost the thread halfway through. I think it was more me than the book. Why did I pick this up? Let's go into that. Tangible reads. I blame you. Right? Was doing a read along for this series. And I was like, oh, I've been interested. Let me see if I can get them quickly. Because I found out, I think, a couple of days before it started. And you know, I get everything from the library. Only this book was available. Now, I put the other on hold, but it was like 10 weeks. And I was like, well, I don't know. And she was like, just, do we have to read it in order? Like, who reads in order? And I was like, I do, but I'll try this once. So there was that. That's how we got here. I enjoyed it. The thing is, it surprised me from the very first couple of pages. First, I was like, are we serious? I don't know if I can read this. Because this man is kind of ridiculous. Like, he's very narcissistic, arrogant. Maybe those are too strong because he's not that bad, but he really projects himself as such. And he is all about his looks or whatever. And it's like, we're in his point of view. So hearing those thoughts or reading those thoughts, I was like, oh no, I don't know if I can handle this. Like, you know, do you, but I don't need to be in your head. However, I was reluctantly amused as well, so I kept going. And then, right, I start realizing how serious the story is when we start getting some of his backdrop and like what's going on with the family currently, his mom and specifically, and how he sees his role within the family and all of that stuff. And so all of this playboy kind of nonsense and like getting the best job and being the best looking and having the most money starts to make sense. And I'm like, oh, this is serious. And then we start getting the sex over and over and over again. And I'm like, I didn't, like, it kind of felt like Whiplash. Not that, you know, erotica can't have a solid foundation, you know, plot and good emotional pull, but I wasn't prepared for all of that. And then I wasn't in the mood, particularly for the sex scenes. And that's not new here. If you know, you know. But, so yeah, it took me longer than probably should have to read this, but it wasn't bad. What did I give this? Because I'm like doing all of this. I gave it 4 stars. So I really like the characters. There is the age gap. It was definitely on his mind a lot more than it seemed to bother her. But she is an adult, and like it didn't bother me, but you know, 36, 22, there were some differences. The discussions about belief and faith and sex and, you know, sin and all of that stuff was really well done, I feel. It left me with some things to think about, which I always appreciate, and I will read the rest of the series at some point. So guys, that is the last book I'm going to talk about today. Let me know what books you've been enjoying in the month of July down below. If you've made it this far, leave me a cross emoji down in the comments for Sinner. That was the first thing I could think of. I do these off the cuff, so yeah, leave me a cross emoji if you made it this far. You don't know what to comment. Another question I have is, what have you read any of these books? What did you think of them? Do you agree with any of the things I said, or do you have different thoughts? Let me know, because that's why I do these. I'm curious. Links in the description to everything I've talked about here, as well as my Storygraph and Goodreads, so you can friend me on any or both of those. There are other social media links as well if you'd like to follow me. Twitter is more bookish than Instagram, just FYI. There is also a 10% off discount code to my Etsy shop, where I make all natural bath and body products, as well as offer tarot and oracle card readings. So guys, that's it for me today. Thank you as always so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!